Dr. Iliyasu Gashinbaki'S is the former President and Chairman Governing Council Chartered Institute of Forensic and Certified Fraud Investigator of Nigeria. 5 minutes for you, sir, to do a forensic analysis of the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the current president. In fact, I'm the pioneer president and chairman governing council of the Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. It's fairly new. Most Nigerians don't know about us. It was chartered in 2022. All protocols observed. Let me start by quoting President Obama, who said, democracy will win if we fight for it. Therefore, I want to commend Ipac, the current leadership of Ipac, led by Alhaji Dantale, for standing for the first time for the cause of democracy. I think this is a step in the right direction and it should be sustained. Again, in following, maybe before I give my thoughts, let me also commend the guest speaker for speaking truth to power. And also in the same vein, remind us also that as much as so many things is heaped on the judiciary, they have done a couple of things that still gives us semblance that democracy can thrive and can equally win. A number of issues. One, the recent judgment on the local government case, for me and from so many Nigerians, is by far the most profound step taken since 1999 in deepening democracy and federalism in Nigeria. We have also seen the Supreme Court judgment on currency redesign, which of course the country was at a quagmire. And then again, the courts came in and bailed us out. And several other pro-democracy rulings that we've seen, the judiciary stood to the occasion. Beyond that, we've seen revenue-related cases and all of that. But again, I'm going to take a different turn to the way we look at malfeasance in the judiciary. If you stop back to think of it, the legal profession is the only profession that has the entire arm of government dedicated to them, which is the judicial arm of the government. Because anybody in the judiciary that is not a lawyer is a support staff. My wife is a lawyer, and I used to tell her that the legal profession is perhaps the most privileged, but at the same time it comes with enormous responsibilities. But again, because of how special it is, we have always looked at judiciary, whether Nigerians are hoping that out of its own self-correction and generosity, that the judiciary can reform itself. And the answer is no, because we have looked at the wrong direction far too long. And the reason is this. This is the first time, I'm saying this without sounding patronizing, that I have seen a senior lawyer speaking on television, pointing out facts about the judiciary without any fear. And the reason why it is like that is that it's difficult for lawyers to speak against the judiciary. Because at the end of the day, after today, you will go to their court tomorrow. And therefore, most of them, in majority of the cases, internally nobody can stand. And if MBA is listening to me, let them listen well. That the way to reform the judiciary is the NBA should work with other civil society organizations, other NGOs, other professional bodies to further put pressure on the steps that we need to take to reform the judiciary. Because we know whatever they want to say or they would wish to say is limited. They cannot speak for themselves. And that reform is not going to come internally. Self-corrections, as you find in the financial system, cannot happen in the judiciary. Now, going further, if you look at the general issues associated with our electoral reforms, it boils down to one thing. How do we manage the electoral management process in a way that is transparent, in a way that is accountable, and in the way that also speaks to what the people desires? And the encumbrance to that is the fact that over the years, just like the guest speaker said, even in the Supreme Court, some of the Supreme Court decided cases, that we are shying away from the steps that are most crucial. And basically, there are two steps to address that I will prefer. One is the infusion of technology into our electoral management system. When I say infusion of technology into the electoral management system, what I mean by that is that we need to take steps from voters registration to the voting system to the electronic transmission of results. All these processes need to be automated. Once those processes are automated, one of the legs is solved. Then the second, which is the most profound, is also the infusion of forensics into our electoral management process, which means from the gathering of evidence during voting, authentication of the voters register, to the transmission of result, to the digital and forensic analysis of all the processes. Quite frankly, and let me say to the hearing of Nigerians, the institute which I represent has promised that the 2027 general elections, and I'm happy that the heads of political parties are all here, including the chairman of the ruling party, it will be different. Why? Because the institute is now going to roll out forensic laboratory. We'll have the document forensic laboratory, we have the digital forensic laboratory, we have the medical forensic laboratory, we have the engineering forensic laboratory, and then we'll have the ballistic and physical forensic lab. Now, the digital forensic lab, hear me and hear me well, and the document forensic lab will solve our electoral challenges. It's a shame, and I find it very absurd that the courts are still worried. They are still deciding on what to admit and what not to admit. If you deploy forensic technology end to end, and fortunately there is high-level conversation with Ipac that I believe in the coming days we will even sign an MOU that will lead to assisting political parties even before their primary elections to see that candidates that we put forward are actually credible and are vetted and they go through forensic review. So basically, the Institute is going to play a key role in the 2027 general elections, and this is the beginning of it. And we are here to make sure that that support is provided to political parties, to law enforcement agencies, and to any individual that is interested in forensic services. Thank you.